a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Welcome to the Restricted Section, the podcast that is digging a hole to bury our love for Harry Potter in it like it's a turd. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry. We did it for you. Here's what we're talking about this week. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Chapter 17, Bathilda's Secret, or, as Jim Dale says, Bathilda's Secret, in which the aforementioned Bathilda's Secret is that she's a snake doing Weekend at Bernie's. I'm your host, Christina. My co-host today is the giggling sounds you hear in the background, Leela. Say hello to the listeners, Leela.
It is I.
You went full witch so quickly.
More of a cack.
Cack. Baby, after you pack the cack, can I write you cack?
Pack the cack? Bastin Yad? Oh, God.
Also with us today is our dear friend Josh from Super Scary Podcast. Say hello to the listeners, Josh.
Hello to the listeners.
Oh my God. Such a good joke. So unique every time.
I know.
How the hell are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great. We just got out of Pride Month,
It's true.
and we're still
We're
here.
still gay. We're still gay.
We're still here, and we're still queer AF. So, I did find a very funny meme that I'd like to share real
Oh,
quick.
please.
It says Pride Month is officially over, which means it's now Prejudice Month. I'll start. I hate you.
I love that. I've also seen it's no longer Gay Pride Month. Now it is Gay Wrath, which I love.
Ooh,
Oh,
we love
I
that,
like that.
too.
I like better than the other joke, which is like, it's no longer Gay Pride Month, so all right, guys, let's pack it up. Time to
Pack it up, delicious.
never be gay again until
No,
next year.
I prefer the inverse of that joke,
Yeah.
which is it is now June 1st, which means it is illegal to be straight. Anyone caught being straight will be arrested. Josh, this is your first time coming on for Deathly Hallows, so tell me a little bit about how you like this installation of the series compared to the rest of them.
Well, I don't think I really read this book all that much. I think I read it the one time and that was it. So
It's hard to just dip back into it.
yeah, so I don't really remember much from this book aside from, what's in the movie, obviously.
Sure.
But this chapter was kind of scary.
It was.
I know.
I was
That's why we
scared.
had you on the show. I look forward to talking about some of the horror moves that get pulled in
Yes.
this children's book. In quotes, children's book.
Yeah.
Because this book is the least. Cool. So before we get started, I would like to read an email from Mott's.
Love.
Monster.
Thank you. That is so much more beautiful than when Andrew does it.
Can I clear my throat and do it again?
Yeah.
Monsters.
Okay,
Okay, that was really beautiful,
Okay,
but I
it's
hope you
Tina.
know I'm going to leave the first one in too.
Now I realize now that was obvious. I'm sorry. I feel embarrassed. Now I am the fool.
Okay, so I am going to read this email from Mott. Mott says, "Hello there. Due to recent events in the world of the restricted section, parentheses, if you know, you know, and parentheses, I thought it appropriate to share some love for someone who rarely receives much of it from the fandom, Colin Creevy."
Okay.
Josh, do you remember who Colin Creevy is?
No, not a clue.
Okay, in the Chamber of Secrets, he is, I almost said a freshman. He's a first year when Harry's a second year, and he's like obsessed with Harry. And he has this camera, and he's the kid who gets petrified because he sees the basilisk through the camera.
Oh, got it.
So that's him. From the moment he was introduced in the second book, Colin has been treated by Harry, and therefore the narrative, as this annoying little kid. In his first year, he's constantly amazed by everything and tries to ask Harry about a bajillion questions on topics ranging from Voldemort to Quidditch. And while Harry getting annoyed is understandable in a way, I can't help but feel as though I'd be doing the same thing if I were in Colin's position. While it is never really shown, I think it is safe to assume that Colin, as a Muggle-born, was discriminated against based on his blood status. And in spite of this, Colin kept on being his joyful, energetic self and not letting people like Malfoy throw off his groove, which is more than can be said for some people. Looking at you, Ronald. In celebration of Colin Creevey, I figured I'd collect some of my favorite moments from the time he spent at Hogwarts. 1. When Harry is in the hospital after the Lockhart incident, Colin is petrified by the basilisk as he is trying to bring Harry grapes. What an icon. 2. When his brother Dennis starts at Hogwarts, Colin is so excited for him that he can't contain himself, proving that he's an amazing brother. 3. Later in the Goblet of Fire, Colin and Dennis try to bewitch the Support Cedric Diggory / Potter Stinks badges to support Harry Potter instead. And while I prefer the original messaging, I appreciate the effort here. And the badges getting stuck on Potter Stinks and then later Potter Really Stinks is a great joke. 4. Despite McGonagall telling him not to, a still underage Colin sneaks back in to fight in the Battle of Hogwarts, which eventually led to his death. In spite of all his contributions throughout the story, the narrator seems to downplay his impact, making him feel insignificant. And we see this insignificance all the way until his death, where even then he is described by the narrator as tiny. We don't see it happen. We don't know who did it. Harry just stumbles across his body getting carried back to the castle by Neville and Oliver Wood, as Harry himself is on his way to his own far more important death. During war, it seems to me that it's the innocent who suffer most. Though we see it in our world, and it is also true in this case. Colin Creevey deserved better both in the bracket and in the books themselves. Colin, you may have lost the first round of the Deus Ex Media Discord bracket, but you're a champion in my book. I don't usually approve of favoritism, but 50 points to Gryffindor. Sincerely, Mott's.
All right.
So, thank you so much for that email, Mott's. I loved it so much. You have such a way with words. Yeah, as Mott's alluded to, our friend Phil, I think I've mentioned this before, he started out doing like a magical items in Harry Potter bracket, and we decided our favorite magical item was the magic tent that our heroes are using right now in the story. And now we're doing a favorite character bracket, and Colin Creevey did get voted out in the first round, which was very unfortunate. So that is what inspired Mott's to write this email, which I loved.
Yeah, and the Discord rejoices. I love it. It's great. It's a good time. The reference is so niche also.
I'm trying to see who Colin was up against. Oh, he was up against Harry Potter, which is like, he was never going to win, but also that sucks. Harry's not that good of a character.
Such an unfair advantage.
I know.
Yeah, that reminds me of our BBR, one of our Pride Month episodes when we did battleships. We shipped,
Oh, that wasn't an episode. We did like a live thing for our patrons.
Oh, JK. I don't know why. Even that night I was like, are we recording? And like, I remember that we didn't. And still I'm like, I was sitting just right here.
So if you want to hang out too, sign up for the Purple for Reading Patreon.
Yeah, we do really fun stuff like that. But yeah, it was totally randomized. And so some fun fan ships, like that are classic fan ships that will always win because they're classics for a reason. Like Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, classic dominated.
Versus like...
well, there was that one. A lot of them were like obscure. Women. Do you remember there was that one that I thought was Billy and Charlie from Twilight, but it was actually, I think, Nick and Charlie from Heartstoppers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, Twilight daddies. And everyone was like, what are you talking about?
It always leads back to Twilight, I swear to God.
It really does.
All roads lead back to Twilight.
My friend Courtney was like, look this up. I was hanging out with her today. She was like, look this up. And I was like, okay. And I pulled out my phone and I opened my Safari app. And the thing that was already up, the last thing I was looking at was a clearance $11 Twilight t-shirt at my local Target location.
Stop.
She was like,
not the
You're going to buy this at
shirt.
Target in the year of our Lord 2024. So it does always lead back to Twilight. Thank you so much for this email, Mots. I think it was really beautiful. I don't personally agree that Colin had like this great impact on the story. But I think that it was in the author's hands to maybe, write less characters, hate other people less.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't even remember that he was a muggle born, if we have to use the slightly better slur.
That's why he got petrified.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
Basilisk
God.
was
Because
coming
it's all
from
connected
Voldemort.
because of, wizard racism. I
Enemies
forgot.
of the air, beware. You'll be next, mudbloods.
Enemies of the air, beware.
Thank you. I'm really bad. Really bad at voices. Okay, so let's get into today's chapter. We're talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, chapter 17, Bathilda's Secret. Anyone care about Bathilda versus Bathilda?
I heard it both ways in my audiobook, so I have no idea which.
With one narrator?
Yeah.
With Jimmy?
No,
Was it Jim?
it wasn't Jim. I just
Steve
pulled
Wright?
one from like YouTube,
YouTube.
or whatever because I didn't want to
Classic.
Proper way.
re-download Audible, but
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Never pay for Harry Potter either. Just so you know. Don't.
Definitely.
The podcast will get it to you if you need it and you're coming on the show. Do not pay for it.
As an American, I'm a Bathilda girl. That's just what it looks like to me.
Bathilda. Yeah.
But Bathilda, and but also Bathilda, it almost sounds like someone's trying to say Matilda, but they sneeze or something. It's like Bathilda. I don't know.
Oh, what's
Like-
your favorite Roald Dahl book? And you're like,
You're like, you have a
Bathilda.
cold. You're like, I think my favorite book is Matilda. That's like what it sounds like. And
Yeah.
but Bathilda is like kind of hot. Like I'm like, wait, do I love that name? And then my daughter
No,
would
I think
be
it's witchy.
Philly. Nope, too bad. That's not
Billy!
good. Take it.
Billy!
Take back. Erase. Batty.
Batty. We call my best friend Adrian Batty. Cannot.
Aw.
Don't remember why.
Or Tilda. Like
That's
Swinton.
how Swinton got there, probably.
Oh my God, you think?
I'm kind of.
Imagine.
Well, we can think.
It's not. We're gonna
that'd
be
be kind of
disappointed.
iconic.
Can you imagine? She's like, yeah, my name's Bathilda.
Her name is Catherine Matilda Swinton.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I understand.
How tall do you think she is?
Your height.
How tall do you think Tilda Swinton is, Josh?
I'd say like 6 foot.
Okay.
She seems like a tall lady.
Yeah.
She's in between. She's 5'11".
Oh my God.
She's got a couple inches on me. Anyway.
there someday,
she's
maybe,
not in
Tina.
this. No, please don't wish that upon me. I don't want that.
I
got my 1-inch platform.
Can you
so
wish
that's
it
plenty.
upon me, like just a little though?
Oh yeah, you still got time, Leela.
Oh my God, I'm like 40 or something. It's not happening.
She's not 40, y'all. Do not listen. Also, being 40 is probably great.
Yeah, good. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
To our 2 40-year-old listeners, you're
We
doing
love
great.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I think Bathilda's cute. I'm gonna go Bathilda.
Really?
Although I
Bathilda.
kind of need to say it, yeah, like Bathilda. Okay, so they're in the cemetery. They have just located Harry's parents' graves and laid a wreath upon them. It is Christmas Eve, and they are not invisible, but they are incognito as muggles. They have used the Polyjuice potion. Okay, so they're in the cemetery.
They're just like ugly fucking muggles. They
Regular
picked
Joes.
A mousy broad, you know?
I mean,
Not
what is
mousy
Hermione if
broad.
not a mousy broad?
It's like, that's one of her favorite ways to use adjectives for any woman in this series. A mousy woman.
For sure.
Okay. Mice are cute.
Is she fat?
Shut up.
Is she fat? Is she mannish? Is she mousy? Like, which is it?
Is she not that pretty? Mousy.
So they're leaving the cemetery and somebody's watching them. Oh, wait, it's a cat. It's a cat.
Or is it?
Or is it? So they put on the cloak again, the invisibility cloak. And then they go to the Potter's old house. And this is so crazy. I actually love this part. I think it's very interesting. But the first thing I would like to discuss is how could they afford a house at 20 years old?
Different economy.
Yeah.
Different for
That
sure.
wasn't the 80s like Reaganomics or whatever the fuck
It
that
was the
means?
80s, and they probably have old money. I think they come from a wealthy
Ooh.
family.
One of them
Yeah.
at least. Were they both like wizard. No. Obviously, Lily
Yeah,
was a wizard.
Lily, no. Lily was Muggle-born and James was
But she's a
not,
wizard, so like, how do you even track that? Like, is that why he was being targeted? Because he's also, or was it like to kill him because of a prophecy?
Prophecy.
Oh shit, I forgot about the prophecy.
It's okay. No, it's a lot to keep in your head all at once. Trust me.
Yeah.
I have almost no math left in here because of all the Harry Potter.
God damn it.
So they're under the invisibility cloak. They're looking at the Potter's old house, and it's all fucked up. And there's a commemorative sign covered with graffiti supporting Harry, especially some more like recent graffiti that's like, "We're with you, we believe in you," and that's really uplifting to him.
Yeah,
Just a little uplift before it all
really
comes crashing
sweet.
down.
It's so nice when like something nice happens to Harry. Like it, like I guess in this point in the book, it feels that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, he's special, guys. Also, it reminds me of like, do you ever follow any of those Facebook groups that are like abandoned buildings in Virginia, like, or is that just a me thing? Well, anyway,
Well, at the old publisher that I worked at, we published a book called Beautifully Broken Virginia by John Plashel. That is abandoned houses in Virginia.
yeah, a lot. Not only houses, just like really cool buildings, and
Yeah, I don't think he did only houses either. I
it's
said that,
there's so many, and it's so cool. But on every post, and I do mean every post, because like the demographic's not like mostly me, like, to be honest. I wonder, it's like, why hasn't anybody saved this? Sad.
Huh. Okay. Well, thank you for
Not
your,
okay. And it
thank
reminds
you for
me
your input.
it reminds me of this point with this like part where the house is abandoned and Hermione just can't help herself. She's like, I wonder why nobody ever rebuilt this place.
Because it's a memorial. But it is kind of wild because, like, I mean, at least in our community, if something terrible happened in a house, you would just fix it right away.
Yeah.
Like the house around the corner from me caught fire and a lot of it burned. And they just are fixing it right away. Because it's a house. People need to live in the house.
Yeah. It's just like a tiny little village where everyone knows each other. I mean, I feel like, yeah, even there surely people's having kids and needing places
like,
to stay.
It's complicated because James and Lily died. So who does the house go to? Well, their son, first of all, just saying.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Like, maybe it is his house and he just, like, doesn't know. I don't know.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it is. It's complicated.
What do you think, Josh?
It kind of reminds me of those like the graffiti sign anyway. Kind of reminds me of those like love fences or those like padlock things that you put on there.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of those across the world.
Yeah. Because I thought that it was like one specific place, but I guess it's kind of all
I
over.
did too when I went to the first one. Yeah. There's definitely one, I think in Cologne, Germany is where I went to one, if I'm
Yeah, I
remembering
think that's kind of
correctly.
the famous one now that you say that, but
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
but specifically with the house, I mean, like muggles can't see it, right? Like there's some sort
yeah.
of like barrier or whatever that
Yeah.
makes it invisible to them. So it makes sense that's partially why they didn't rebuild it, but
Yeah, I just don't. I feel like there's no good inheritance laws for magicians in the UK. They're like, I don't know, does anyone want it? Just leave it there.
They're like, there was no sons. What do we do?
What do we do? Give it to Mr. Collins from Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, just the, wealthy landowner that is related to you and Blake might want to bang you, honestly.
Oh, okay. Oh, and he's your cousin. Okay. Okay, so as they're standing there reading all of this, Bathilda, I got myself. Bathilda comes up to them. And she beckons. Okay.
There's a
Let's stop.
creepy old
Let's stop
lady.
right now to talk about. Well, hold on. Okay, and then Hermione is like, "Woohoo! Red alert! I've seen horror movies. This is terrifying." And Harry's like, "Whoa! She's who we came to find."
He goes, "Hey, Bathilda," and she's like,
Huh?
literally gave away their position. Like,
Leela is nodding and doing a thumbs up. She can never remember that we don't publish the video.
Yeah, I'm nodding and doing a thumbs up.
So they follow her to her house. Okay, Josh, let's look at this in a horror movie context.
Yeah.
What are they doing wrong?
well, Harry's doing everything wrong. Hermione, as always, is usually the more level-headed one. But
Yeah.
I mean, Harry gave away their position and
Immediately.
and was like, you know what? I don't see anything wrong with this.
He doesn't even wait for a word from her. She doesn't say a word, and he's like, I trust you.
Yeah. Well, I think he's even thinking that it's some sort of Dumbledore type magic, and I'm like, how? How do you think that whatever she's emulating is Dumbledorian?
He's so desperate right now. He really is.
I mean, it's really sad. Like these past few chapters were very, very sad.
Yeah, I feel like part of his brain is like, well, I don't know what to do next. I looked at my parents' graves. I have seen the house that my parents died in. If this bitch kills me, it'll be out of my hands.
And Hermione's like, what's that? What now?
What are we doing? Yeah, so the Bathilda beckoning is like so horror movie to me. Like, can you just picture it? Yeah, like the lighting and like the zoom in on her little like beckoning finger.
And the finger would have been all like
decrepit because she's been dead for 6 weeks.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
It's so gross.
That's a plot twist. Stop, we're not there yet.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
But also like it's giving very Hansel and Gretel type.
Oh my god, yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. Like a witch or quote unquote witch is like luring
No, she's literally
children.
A witch, remember?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right. Everyone's witches.
It is totally Hansel and Gretel.
Witchcraft.
So like, do we think she would smell if she's been dead for 6 weeks? 6 is a number I made up, but I think what we hear later is she had been dead, quote, quite some time. Yeah. I think that is what we hear.
It was a lot. Definitely smell? Like there is a note of like she smelled not only like mothballs and old people, but also like, I don't know, bad meat gone bad. Weird.
What could that be?
What could be? I bet it's just because she's an old lady.
There's no meat around except for the meat ships that our stupid brains are piloting.
Meat ships.
No, but I get it though, because sometimes old people do. But old people don't smell meat bad. They smell like dusty, weird lotion, ointment.
Yeah, sometimes farting
without realizing it. But it's not like rotting meat. That is a medical condition.
I mean, like, if anybody, we're all kind of like from an area where we would have grown up, I feel like, having been like, what's that smell? And then you walk up on it and you're like, oh, it's like a horrifying rotting animal. Oh, maybe it was just me. But,
no.
You know what I mean? And then, like, that's, like, a smell you never forget. And you're, like, your brain, like, tattoos it on your memory. And you're like,
yeah.
And anytime I've ever smelled that again, I'm like, oh, death? You know? So, it is funny that I guess he's never smelled because in the wizarding world, you don't really... I mean,
he's
when
never
you die, you just, like,
the...
explode, right? Or something?
No, that's fake. That's a fake movie memory.
No. When you die, you just fall down.
Yeah, and, like, I don't think he's been around, like, a lingering dead body. No. He's been around fresh-ass Cedric Diggory dead body.
That fresh-ass.
Fresh-ass. Okay, wouldn't her skin be decomposing a little bit, or is it too early?
I think it would be.
Like, the way that she beckons, like, I don't believe that her finger could do that movement without crumpling or...
That her skin, could be that elastic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she hasn't drank water in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I think even when we get to the house and it's like saying how she's like fumbling with shit and can't light a candle or make a fire or whatever, it's like all the hints are there that
it seems like she forgot how to be magic.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like, so she's not using magic if she's supposedly a witch.
Yeah, that should be a big red alert.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big.
Because
yeah.
okay, I'm like the way that when my grandma was like, you know, toward the end of her life, and she like was having a hard time writing, and she was having a hard, you know, they have a hard time with stuff. And if she had a magic stick that could do it all without her occupational therapist's help, she would have chosen that, you know? I Googled it, and according to harrypotter.fandom.com, she has been dead for several months. That's, what is that,
No,
like
that's
3 or
worse.
4 months? 3 or 4 months, maybe several?
Oh, that's
even worse.
That's really bad.
12 to 16 weeks. That bitch is in a sludge pile.
That's disgusting. That's so
like,
graphic.
does Nagini give her life force?
Do I not remember this from the movie?
No, it's in the movie. It's really upsetting.
Oh, shit. I can't wait to rewatch it then. I can't remember that at all.
And, like, so I think that we're led... Oh, my God. Did Nagini kill her? Was she dead already? And Nagini was like, ooh, dead bitch. I'm going to use this. Like, because if Nagini killed her, then maybe Nagini was able to, like, do something to keep her life essence. Like, you know what I mean? So she doesn't crumble into a pile of remains.
I know we don't like to think about this, but Nagini is, like, a witch turned...
Ugh, whatever.
But, like, does that not mean that Nagini still has, like, her magic witch powers?
I don't think so. I mean, we have no evidence to support that. We don't see her do anything magical
Do you
of her own
see
accord.
any evidence to not... Oh, yeah, I guess you just said it.
Can't prove a negative. You know, it's not impossible, but I don't know.
I kind of, like, feel like my heart can't take it any other way, so can you just say yes?
Oh, yeah. No, she probably can still do magic. Yeah.
Oh, my God, that's so
that
good.
makes sense to me. That makes
because
sense to me.
then the body wouldn't be horribly decaying.
I believe Harry Potter would go with a horribly decayed body.
No, I do too. But
Being
I mean,
piloted by a snake.
but like you said before, like it's like a sludge pile after 3 to 4 months. Like, come on.
I know I said that first, but you said it again while I was taking a sip of water and I almost threw up in my mouth.
Me and Tina really both don't like. What would you describe it
I
as?
call it medical horror. I try to get better about it. I'm trying to expose myself.
Yeah, you just
to it more.
desensitize yourself to it, and sometimes you get upset. That's what it's like to just like be able to have friends that like.
Yeah, it's not great.
But the way that I think about it is this something that could happen to my sludge pile someday?
Oh,
yes,
that's
then
fucked up.
I should be able to deal.
Yeah, don't you snake into my sludge pile.
Don't you snake into my sludge pile? I wish we named these episodes the way we named PBR episodes. Okay, so they go to her house. The person who cleans the house has been dead, quote, for several months, unquote.
She's been dead.
So it's disgusting in there.
Yeah, it's
maybe
horrible.
there's some sludge piles in there.
Yeah.
The house is disgusting, but like Harry really is so desperate for this to work that he is ignoring a lot of red flags.
A lot.
Like almost nothing but red flags.
Yeah, it's all red flags all over the place. Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. All.
Okay, so let's look at the red flags. First of all, the fact that she showed up. I know that they went here looking for her, but like it should maybe have been harder.
Yeah.
She walks right up to them. Okay, she's not speaking. She smells bad, and her house smells really bad and is in extreme disrepair. Yeah. And she removes Harry from Hermione.
I would say
all red flags.
And then even before that, just like Josh said, she stumbles around trying to do things like light candles without magic.
So I think that that's 2 red flags, which is a physical clumsiness and not using magic when she's...
As a horribly old lady.
A horribly old lady, which not to be this way, but it sounds like Nagini doesn't have magic, but that's fine.
Yeah, you're right.
Harry spots a picture of the boy from Grigorovich's memory, and he's like, who is this? Who is this? Because this is like the only clue he has, and he's been turning it over in his mind this whole time. And Bathilda, okay, so listen, okay, I have this memory in my head. Oh my God, my beloved grandma Dee Dee. When maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, I went to Europe and I brought her back a magnet of a Venetian mask from Venice, right? Classic Venice shit. Brought her back a magnet. And then, you know, grandmas, their minds are not steel traps. She forgets things. And so like 3 or 4 years later, I opened my Christmas present from her and that magnet was in there. And I said, oh my God, Dee Dee, this is so cute. Where did you get this? And she just kind of like pressed her lips together. Her eyes got really big and she just did this little shrug.
Oh my God.
And I picture Harry being like, Bathilda Bagshot, who's in this picture? And Bathilda's just like, like just like a cute little shrug. Like she just is like, I don't have human language. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like a pretty good, I like that interpretation. As it's a good, it's a resourceful way to navigate not having human language.
Just being this little shenanigans stirrer.
Make a little noise.
It's like, that sound you made sounded really hissy. I got witchy again. You're witchy again.
Oh my God, it's so witchy.
You know what the witchiest thing is? Whenever I can convince, every once in a while it happens. You know, when you're like hanging out, or Tina, at least you may know this. When you're hanging out with like girlfriends or just like women that you just like are hanging out with, and then like at one point you do like a little bit where at some point all 3 of you are holding hands. It happens, okay? Just start speaking rapid Hebrew, like the only Hebrew you know. That's what I know too. If you say it like Tina, if you say it with a thick ch, these girls will lose their minds and think you're doing real witchcraft.
That's in did you ever see Saved, that movie that I
Yes.
love so much? I fucking love that movie.
I
The
love
one
that movie.
Jewish girl at the Christian school starts doing voice. She's speaking in tongues. She starts taking all her clothes off. I love that movie so much. Anyway, so my notes say Bathilda asks Harry to come upstairs alone, but we all know that she points without words.
She gestures menacingly.
Yeah.
Hermione's like, I'm coming with you, and she's like, her points to Hermione, and she's like, you? No.
Yeah.
Me? Him? Up. And Harry's like, she wants me to follow her. I got to go, Hermione.
Like Hermione, I feel really bad for her in this moment because okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about a woman. Their gut instinct is correct, okay? Like, a woman's gut instinct is correct. I feel really bad for Hermione in this moment because, like, the bad vibes that she's getting, her brain is not clocking all these red flags. Like, she's not processing it quickly enough, or she's just so worried about, like, how hard it would be to remove Harry from the situation, you know? She's like, okay, we have to at least, like, see what this is about.
Yeah.
Because it's just terrible. And then she gets left down here in this fucking murder house.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
In terms of like horror movie type shit, like Hermione is the woman that's like experiencing all of the weird red flag shit.
She's the final girl.
She kind of is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or in like a supernatural movie, like she's the mom that's witnessing everything, and Harry's like the dad that's like denying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And he's like, I'm ignoring all the red flags, even though I see them and I recognize them and I know it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Once Bathilda gets Harry upstairs alone, they're in like privacy. So then she speaks to him. And we, the reader, know that this is because she is speaking in parcel tongue. So she couldn't do this in front of Hermione because Hermione would be like, that is snake language. Dumb Harry. Yeah. Dumb Harry can't tell when he's being spoken to in snake language.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely a snake right there.
Yeah, like, that's why else would you do this? Yeah. Or you just be like, oh God, that's scary. Like even that is enough to be like, okay, we're gonna think of maybe abort this mission.
Yeah, abort the mission. Then so the rest of this chapter is kind of crazy. The rest of this is kind of crazy. So Harry starts having a vision of it's very meta too. Voldemort is saying, hold him. Like, come on, bro. If these weren't red fucking alerts so far, you get a vision of your nemesis being like, oh, you have him? Keep him there. And you just entered the company of a new sketchy person. Do you think that it's you, the guy that he's been going after for all these years, that he's saying, hold him?
The thing I hate most about Harry sometimes, that like when I come back to these books and everything, is that he's so trusting of certain adults, and I'm like, if it's outside of Hogwarts, why the fuck are you trusting any of these adults? Half of them want to kill you, the other half want to give you to people that want to kill you.
Yeah, really.
So it's like, I don't know why he's like thinking that this person is like being sent by Dumbledore from the grave. Like,
Harry has not spent a lot of time, I guess, around old people, except for like Dumbledore. He didn't know his grandma, you know, the way that like I knew my grandmas. Like, he might really just be like, I don't know, old people smell like shit and can't talk no good, which is like it's not like completely wrong, but I think he's like really overestimating like the extent to which old people can smell bad and not.
Like, I don't know, they're openly decaying and their lips can't move to form sentences.
Not the decaying.
My grandma used to get Botox injections in her larynx to help with her really creaky voice.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Honestly, that's kind of iconic. I love that. I don't love that she had a creaky voice, but like...
She called it a larynx, though.
But I got my larynx injections.
Yeah.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, it's harder to say. So, Bathilda turned into a snake.
But like, how did she do it, Tina?
Snake come out of Bathilda. Snake was inside Bathilda.
It says like in her neck, right?
Yeah, like out of her neck. It's so fucking disgusting.
Her head opens up like you're opening up your QP mayo, because that's the last condiment I used was my QP mayo that has a little like snap lid on it.
Stop.
Ew, that's so disgusting. That's disgusting. Please stop.
So like, was horrible. Bathilda beheaded? Like, why do we open at the neck instead of coming out the mouth?
I think like, honestly, like like Nagini is like so mama, like she's just like such a little drama queen. She's just like, I'm on the edge, and just like explodes out of the neck of glory. And like, she loves the drama. Like,
she does. The whole time she's been like, Nagini, she's like, don't
oh,
say
are
a
you
fucking
scared?
word.
Are you scared? How about now you're horrified? And then it like
giving a whole new definition to Mother 8, right? Like,
yes. Yeah. That's all I have to say is yeah, because she turned into a snake, bro. They wrestle.
They wrestle.
Sean. Oh my god, I called Harry Potter Sean.
I would honestly love to see Sean in these situations and what he would do.
Me too. It's very entertaining.
Maybe would not handle it a lot better because he needs a lot of time to think before he takes action. So I think that he would. I think he would not enter this home on the grounds of smell alone. And I think he would listen to Hermione a lot better than Harry would. Those are two things that Sean has going for him. Also, he's seen a lot of horror movies, and Harry hasn't.
So true. Harry trusts any grown up. He's like, I love you. You're like my dad.
I assume.
I'm a decaying old lady. Sir.
Well, you're like my old headmaster.
I just saw my parents' grave, and I'm very, very, very vulnerable. I don't know.
Bruv.
Bro.
They're wrestling. He loses his wand, and then she pins him. Wait, is she out of the body now? Is she? Just
I think she's out.
Yeah, yeah, she's definitely out of the body. An out of body experience.
An out of body experience.
Literally, for Harry.
So the snake pins him. Hermione comes to help. Harry gets his wand. And then finally, Harry's like, wait a second. I think Voldemort is coming for me. Let me clear my throat. Do that one again. For me.
Wow, what a concept. It's only been happening all 7 books.
Are you jerkin' kidding me?
That's your Melissa McCarthy voice.
Yeah. I did her for D&D the other day. Shout out, Melissa, if you're listening. Hey, come on the pod. We'd love to have you.
I would love to have
Honestly. Come on BBR, actually.
Yeah,
do that
come
first.
on the other podcast. Melissa McCarthy would be such a catch for our fucking podcast. Oh my god.
That's how
Okay.
we make it. Okay.
So Hermione explodes everything.
Yes.
And Harry pulls her out the window.
Hermione's like, I'm going to panic and I'm going to fucking explode. I'm going to burn this house down. I'm a Gryffindor. That's how I does.
That's how she does it. She's like, how do I... Okay, it's like, okay, just because I've been playing a lot of video games lately, it's kind of like sometimes if you're really surrounded, but your health is all the way up, exploding a grenade at your feet can solve the problem sometimes.
Totally.
Depending on what you got going on in your situation. So this is crazy because he's like in midair and he has a vision.
Yes.
And he is both getting away from the scene and he is Voldemort watching them get away and like disapparate in midair.
Yes.
As they break out the window.
It's kind of
Fucking
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really it was kind of hard to follow, which I almost never say that about Harry Potter. But especially like auditorily, like I wasn't really going back and rereading lines, but just listening to it, it was like, damn, there's a lot fucking happening right now.
A lot. Yeah.
And like, what a horrible feeling. Like, have you guys ever been in the middle of something very important and like something horrible is happening to you? Like, for example, when I graduated from college, I was like fainting in the middle of my graduation and I had a friend physically holding me upright and I was like, wow, of all the times that I could almost faint, it's going to be now when I'm in the middle of a room full of people looking directly at me. It's like a terrible feeling. Have you guys ever had anything? You ever gotten diarrhea at your wedding or anything?
Well, I mean, I'm ashamed to say in my 30s, there have been a couple of times where, I'm on the phone with like a client or something and I really have to go take a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And there may or may not have been one or possibly more times in my 30s where I've shit my pants.
Oh my God. And it's for the client.
Yeah. Well, not in front of a client or like anything like that. But
no,
like
but it's
just
like for work stuff.
Yeah. It's just like,
that's terrible.
I'm doing work
sucks.
and
Bro.
You can't be like, Margaret, I gotta go. I need to take a shit. It's really urgent. It came upon me.
Listen, I peed myself a whole lot. And
the breath in.
It all started when I studied abroad in Spain. There was no public restrooms anywhere. Those are for filthy Americans or some shit. I don't know. I guess everyone just doesn't drink water a lot in Europe, and so they're just like dehydrated and don't have to pee as much. That's my only theory. But walking home from festivals when I studied abroad in Spain, they would go until like they would be on the beach and they would go until like the sunlight came out, and like I would be getting home from the metro right when the sun came up and like people were like walking to work, and I was like I had to pee so bad. And I was like, it's still gonna be like 6 blocks until I get home. And I'm like, so like there was, I want to say like 4 times when I just said, you know what? We're just going to keep walking and we're going to pee and we're going to keep walking and there's no way around it.
Oh my God. You can't find like an alley or something? There's so many alleys in Richmond to piss in.
There's no alleys in Spain.
That can't be right. What the fuck? Alleys are so important to city structure.
And the city I was in Bilbao.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Well, thank you both for bearing your soul to me.
Yeah. And my host mom would still do my laundry. Felt so bad about it. No, I said, please let me. And she was very insulted. And so I didn't ask her again.
Oh my God. Wow.
She hung it out my underwear out the window. It's okay.
That's normal. I guess that's normal there. Okay. So Harry is fainting during his graduation or whatever.
Yeah.
I think about that. I've read scenes like this before in other books where they're like running away and something is like overcoming them. And it's like, oh my God, can they run fast enough to get away before they succumb? So Harry, for some reason, he's like now viewing the night that Voldemort came to kill his parents and witnessing how he failed. I guess because Voldemort is like thinking about it.
That's what I got. Yeah.
That's what I got too.
Because that's clearly his like most insecure moment, right?
Yeah, it just gets into some like mind reading mushy gushy because when you're remembering something, are you playing it beat for beat in your head like a movie, or are you just getting like images and vibes? Because I'm more of like an images and vibes girly.
Yeah, I'm probably more of an images and vibes.
But Voldemort is just playing
beat for beat.
Playing the movie.
But that's how they show memories in this series in general.
You're right. There's definitely a precedent for it. There's this line that says, well, okay, because he goes in, kills James, and then he kills Lily, and then the boy. And he kills the boy. And it said, quote, he had killed the boy, and yet he was the boy. I think that's supposed to be our clue that Harry is a Horcrux. Because, you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Would you believe it? But it is weird. I don't know why Voldemort would be a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay. I guess just magic backfiring. And then he also sees Voldemort pick up the picture of the thief. So we're like, oh, yeah, that. And Voldemort's like, yes, this reader. Don't forget. Okay, thank you, Voldemort.
That's very nice of you.
Hermione wakes Harry in the tent. He's in the tent. Do you know how he got there? Hermione got him there.
Yeah, literally thank God for that bitch. And she was so scared and probably hurt herself. And she hovered him the whole way there. Because they're just little scrawny teenagers.
She couldn't get him on the bed.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get... That's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I could get Sean in bed. If he was dead weight.
Dead weight is something else.
Yeah.
I'd probably just leave my husband on the floor. Just
I'm
like,
I'm
so
on
sorry.
the floor, probably. Yeah.
I would expect the same, though. You know what I mean? Like, at this point in my life...
Oh, God, because the reverse, definitely, Sean cannot lift me. I'm much stronger and heavier than him.
But, like, you know, I mean, in my fantasies, just, like, a huge Brendan Fraser from Mighty Joe Young, you know, lift me up.
Mighty Joe Young.
Is that not what I wanted to say?
Is he
George of the Jungle?
George of the Jungle. I'm like, who the fuck is in Mighty Joe Young?
No. I take it back. I don't want to be known for Mighty Joe Young, please.
You can't take it
back. No.
It's Bill Paxton. Ha ha.
That's not who I wanted. Okay.
Well, it's what you're getting.
Bill Paxton can't lift me, Josh. And to be honest, neither can Brendan Fraser currently. He's an old guy.
Imagine ordering Brendan Fraser at a restaurant and getting Bill Paxton.
I was going to say, when you order Brendan Fraser on Wish and Bill Paxton comes instead.
Like, I understood why Leslie Mann in George of the Jungle was like, no, like, I love him. I love this jungle man, and like, he is my man of mine. And then, like, But like, imagine if it was Bill Paxton. She just like would have been like, oh,
yeah.
It's another Lyle, if you catch my drift.
Sorry, I had to Google it because I guess the last time I watched George of the Jungle was before I knew who Leslie Mann was. So I was like, is she in that fucking movie? So
yeah, she is, and she's so cute.
Yeah, she is really cute. Her name was Ursula, and I always thought that was very odd.
Me too. Can we watch that movie soon? It's like so horny, and you know I love him.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to clarify that the only reason I thought the name Ursula was odd is because at that time in my life when I was watching a lot of George of the Jungle, just the villain from Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's
no one else.
I was like, but that's a bad girl name.
Yeah, exactly.
Harry Potter.
So Harry is awoken in the tent. He is unwell. He's very ill. He has like a fever, and he has been raving in his sleep. Hermione's been sponge bathing him or whatever. She had to use a severing charm to get the Horcrux off of him, and it left a mark, which is horrifying. And she treated his snake bite, which I guess doesn't have poison in it. Thank you, Nagini. Why was the Horcrux so stuck to him?
That was horrifying. It like got fused to him. Are Horcruxes supposed to be attracted to other Horcruxes? Like,
I mean, yeah, but he's been wearing it.
He's been wearing it this whole time. When he got,
I also said, I mean, yeah, but I actually don't think that's true.
But then, I haven't finished the next chapter yet. Was the sword in there?
No.
Was anything in there?
No, nothing. Nothing was in there.
It was
except
all
for
like
murder.
A trap, basically.
Murder
then
was
why,
in there.
I don't. Yeah, then that's just silly, and that's just a little bit dumb. Maybe it's. They didn't apparate, did they?
They apparated away. Yeah.
Maybe that happened. I don't know. Like splinchy things happen when you apparate. I don't know.
Well, when he was upstairs with Nagini, like he was. His scar was hurting, and the whatever it is, charm or whatever, was reacting. So maybe because Voldemort was getting close to them, it was like a weird chain reaction. I don't know.
Okay, trying to go to him or something. It's weird. There's no precedent for this kind of like adhering. And it doesn't happen again after this. So if anyone has any ideas about this, please let me know. So he's not well. And then he's about to get real not well. Because his wand is broken. He makes
social suicide.
He makes Hermione try to fix it, which she does, and it doesn't work. Hermione thinks that she did it with her explosion curse. I would never have said this to him. Would you have ever said that to him, that you think you did it?
No, that wouldn't at least be I don't think, if I thought it in my head, then maybe I would bring it up. Yeah, I can't keep things to myself. I can't even keep my own secrets to myself. So yes, I would have said that.
Josh, would you have told him that your curse exploded it?
I probably wouldn't have, because of his history of being such a shitty person. Whenever like they say something wrong, like the wrong way to him, like true. I would have just been like, hey, like in the chaos, obviously your wand broke of like the whole battle.
That's definitely
which is probably what
answer.
Actually was actually the case.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't think it's even dishonest to keep that to yourself. I think on top of that, Harry's been through a lot. He's physically unwell. He's mentally unwell. The dead end just keeps getting dead endier. And like, even from a position of wanting to protect him and make it easier for him, which I don't feel that way, but like having to deal with the grief of losing his wand and this frustration at having the plot just stopped because he has no more leads, it only adds another layer if he knows Hermione is carrying guilt about this, that neither one of them could do anything about it. So if Hermione just feels a little bit of guilt really quietly deep inside herself, then it's not his problem. You know what I mean? It doesn't additionally strain their already strained relationship, and he doesn't have to worry about it. It just broke because that sucks, and that whole day sucked, and we should never have done that.
Yeah, and none of it was her fault. Like truly,
she's the only one. Yeah, if you're the only one doing anything, you're also going to be the main one fucking up because no one else is doing anything.
Well, you went along with me in it. Okay, well, you're very charismatic and you're like the chosen one or whatever the fuck. What do you want me to do? Your dead parents live here.
He is not charismatic. I could not disagree more when
People
you said
say
Harry
fucking
Potter.
Trump is charismatic. Like, I don't even know what that word means anymore.
Yeah, I
charismatic
agree.
to someone.
Yeah, I agree. But I also can't listen to Trump talk long enough to figure out if that's true or not. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the end of the chapter. Josh, do you have any final notes, favorite moments, anything you wanted to mention before we wrap it up here?
The only thing I wanted to touch on is that, like, even though Harry is probably the one that's more unwell at the end of the chapter has a way of also making Hermione sound like she is absolutely disheveled as a woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
she's not well.
And I'm just like, okay, well, how is Harry more unwell than she is? But yet we have to comment on it.
Exactly.
Harry just be fainted. Yeah, Hermione looks... I mean, she's been...
haggard.
Yeah, like, she's been agonizing for hours about his health, and... Is it worse if he wakes up or doesn't because I have to tell him that his wand is broken? Like, she's...
He's like, baby, you should go to sleep. You look like shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the energy that Harry gives her is like, well, you fucked up. You broke my wand, but I'm going to use yours. Give me your wand.
He and Ron both in this chapter are...
in this book.
In this book, yeah. Especially in this recent chapters.
Because someone's not in the chapters right now.
Yeah, but it was like literally the one right before this. So, yeah, I mean, they're just horrible. They're really like unbearable and like not fun to read. Like I huffed and puffed so hard in the car. And like and you know, it's not
because
often
she
I
was
do that.
listening to the audiobook in the car.
Yeah, I was listening to the dulcet tones of Jimdale through Northern Virginia traffic. And yeah, I mean, I did keep my attention, I'll tell you that much. But
that sounds
I was
like
not
a terrible
happy
time going through Nova traffic with Jimdale.
I mean, it's fine.
Of all people.
I'm so busy. I like have to drive so much during the week. So I just do everything auditorily.
In the car, yeah.
In the car. Yeah.
Leela, do you have any final words about the chapter besides that we're so fed up with Harry right now?
No, I did like really have a great time listening to / reading. I read a little bit when I got home. This chapter, it gasped me. Let's see. It had thrills. It had chills. It had minor skills. It had Buffalo Bills.
Okay, well, that's enough out of you.
Isn't that the guy?
The guy from Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. Where's the skin? Just like the snake did.
Okay. All right. Okay. I see it. I get it. No, I get it.
You know what's funny is explaining jokes.
No. It was good. It was good.
Okay, great.
I'm glad you explained it. My final words are oogie, scary. She would have been decrepit. She would have been in a pile. She would not have been a snake.
Spooky, scary skeletons shaking from my spine. I don't know if that's the words.
I don't either.
Josh, it's not my podcast. I'm sorry.
Well, go ahead, Leela. Go right ahead.
Josh, any last words?
No, I said that to him already, though.
Fuck.
Nope. All good here. Thanks.
Josh, why don't you tell the people where they can find you and your work on the internet?
Well, hello, listeners. I am the ghostess with the mostess over at Super Scary. You can find me at Super Scary Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and I release episodes every Monday. And random plug, I'm going to be on Nothing to Fear podcast through July and August, where we're covering the Twilight movies. So
Hell yeah.
if you have an interest in that, the host over there is watching them for the first time, and I have somehow become the Twilight expert in recent years. So
maybe we'll get them to come on Burn Before Reading to talk about Twilight someday.
Yes. I bet they would love that.
We'll make them the Twilight person. How do you like it?
Yeah. So so you can check me out on Nothing to Fear podcast as well.
Awesome. And what's something you've been watching, reading, playing, listening to lately you think the listeners would enjoy?
Well, I've been doing a lot of Baldur's Gate recently. Baldur's Gate 3, so we love to see it.
What kind of character are you playing with?
I am a tiefling sorcerer. No, druid. Sorry, tiefling druid.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
And then, you mentioned yesterday you're romancing Gale. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's not working, but
oh, interesting.
But my companion is pairing. Well, like I paired with Shadowheart. And the game is trying to push me toward Shadowheart. I'm like, no, I don't want to romance her.
But everyone loves Shadowheart. They didn't really account, I think, for the gays when they wrote this because everyone is in love with Shadowheart, myself included. I've been all up in that.
Yeah, but I am trying not to be. So
yeah, well, just keep waiting. Eventually, Halcyon will come. Be your bear, literally be a bear for you.
Would you rather be with the bear or a man?
Wait, I did see a lot of memes during that conversation about Halcyon, who is a Baldur's Gate character that can turn into a bear. And it's like, who would you pick? Well, I pick both.
And you're like, ¿por qué no los dos?
Hell yeah. So is Baldur's Gate your plug? It sounded like you were maybe leading to something else.
Oh, no, that's it. That's my plug. That's it.
Hell yeah. We support Baldur's Gate on this podcast. Leela, where can the people find you on the internet?
Hi. You can listen to me every Wednesday. Before you listen to the restricted section, you should listen to Burn Before Reading.
And today's episode, we invited my high school friend on the show, and we dragged up a lot of very, very old tea for the listeners.
Do you guys like bleeps? Like when you say, Tina, bleep the shit out of this. I don't even understand why that mother had to do all up in my.
That's so much funnier without bleeping it.
No, please, please.
I will. Definitely go listen to us over there. I won't say it's a better podcast than this one, but it's more diverse. We talk about more things than just Harry Potter. In fact, we don't talk about Harry Potter, not even a little bit, not even at all.
We try. Sometimes it still finds its way in, but we try really hard not to.
It's not my fault that our guest this week has the same birthday as J.K. Rowling.
Exactly. See what I mean?
And Harry Potter.
It always finds us.
No.
I know. We can't. Anyway. I think this week I would like to plug, actually, our most recent guests as of today when we're recording podcast. The weirdest thing I learned this week.
Oh, hell yeah. That was our last week's episode with Rachel Feltman.
Yes.
It was, I haven't had to smell axe in 15 years. I'm very... Yes. Love that title.
With a very courageously submitted, self-submission. What am I trying to say? A self-writing.
It's something Rachel wrote with herself. She wrote it.
She did it. Yeah. It's brave. I sometimes think,
it is brave.
Should I have brought that on here? And, I'm the host, so it was very brave of her.
That's me every time I go on that show.
I know.
Literally, Josh.
It's like, do I want to be targeted by Beyonce fans again?
I know. The last time you were on the show, we were like, this is the most vulnerable thing we've ever had on the show. And you were like, wait, really? And we were like, no, it's exactly what we're looking for. It's everything we've ever wanted.
April Fools. Yeah, but her podcast is really, really fun for like a dumb bitch like me who's like, I say that lovingly, like I just kind of consider myself a dumb bitch. Like I really only want to like consume media if it's like fun.
She's not like a scholar just for scholar's sake.
I have niche. I can be smart, but like I'd rather just have a good time. And
it can't be dry.
And so pretty much every podcast I listen to is like a podcast like BBR, where it's just like two funny dumb bitches like talking about nonsense. But I finally was like, let me give Rachel's podcast a try. I always like to try to familiarize myself a little bit with, if we have like our guest content, if we have them on. And then I was like, oh, I love this. It's so good. And I love fun facts. I feel like I learned so much, but like I don't feel like it's boring or like dry or anything, It's like still really fun to listen to. So, and Jason's just like, he's like, honey, I'm just so happy you're listening to a science podcast. Because I'm like, fair enough, babe. Fair enough.
I'm so glad you like it. Hell yeah. Definitely give it a listen.
Do it.
I've been your host, Christina. You know where to find me. The only book that I've finished since I last recorded is How to Protect Bookstores and Why: The Present and Future of Bookselling by Danny Kane. This author also wrote another really important book called How to Resist Amazon and Why. He has obviously a big focus in independent books. So that was very informative and interesting. I would also like to plug our friend Zach from over on My Cabbages. His brother Jake is in a band called Shift Meal, and they released an album a couple days ago called Pennies and Cigarettes, which is extremely good. I'm going to link to it on Spotify. It's a really excellent album, very like throwback, like emo punk rock energy, very like angsty, so I highly recommend it. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me again. I think I'm back on in maybe a couple months or weeks.
Yes, this is not your last. This is not your last appearance. You're gonna come back on in September for the Gringotts chapter with our friend Jay.
Yes.
You're playing my co-host that day. So.
Oh, I love.
Hell yeah. And Leela, as always, I just love podcasting with you. You're so funny, bitch.
Oh my God. You're so funny, bitch. Yeah, I'm glad. Oh no, my God. I saw it.
There's a fly. There's flies everywhere.
They're trying to wreck our friendship, but we're not going to let them.
All right, y'all. Let's go. Run away from Voldemort. Run away.
Oh, fuck.
That's it, potheads. Thanks for listening to The Restricted Section. Hosted and produced by me, Christina Kahn. Theme music produced by Ryan Kahn. Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Please don't find us on social media. I am not doing anything there. However, you are welcome to join our Patreon. For $1 a month, you can gain access to our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. And for $5 a month, you get access to our monthly bonus episodes. There's also a $10 and a $20 tier as well. So please go check that out. We are honored to be part of Deus Ex Media Podcast Network, which features lots of wonderful podcasts for nerds, including this one.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
Tina, bleep the shit out of this. I don't even understand why that mother skunking mother pooter had to do that all up in my poot hole.
Deus Ex Media.